Hi guys, today with BestCode using one of our continuous inkjet printers, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace a drop generator. So this is our print head, and the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove this cover. This is our drop generator. So to make it a little bit easier, I'm also going to remove this other cover. So I will just take it out of the vise, and you guys can see we have two screws on each side, and we're going to go ahead and remove those using a Phillips screwdriver. Very small screws, so make sure you have a place to put them so we don't lose them. And then we'll expose everything that's in the print head by removing both covers. Now that we have the screws out, we can simply, by loosening this just a little more, now you get a good look at what we're going to be doing here, guys. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of cloth underneath this tube because we have a little ink in it, just to keep it from getting ink all over the place. So I'll just take a cloth if I can get underneath here. And now you see you have a little push knurl, and if you just push that in, guys, and the tube comes out. So there you go, we have that tube out. Next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take out the screw here using my Phillips screwdriver. And again, do not drop it on the floor. I always keep a nice bench. This other screw here could come loose, so be careful not to lose that. But that should take this loose for you guys. So now we have it out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this tube off of the connector here. It's really on there, so and there you go. The next thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to flip this over because we have a little bit of shrink tubing that we're going to need to cut, but then we'll have it totally removed, guys. And you can see right here in the video the shrink tubing that I'm going to be cutting. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm not going to use the vise. I'm going to place it on the board here so I could just take out my razor knife. And now that I have my razor knife out flat, and be careful because it's a razor blade, I'm just going to go ahead and very carefully cut away the shrink tubing. And with the shrink tubing off, that's exposing our connection here. Grabbing, and now it's disconnected. And as you can see, I just removed the drop generator. So now we have the drop generator out. You can see that we have it mounted. And taking these two screws here out very carefully, you're going to need a small Phillips to do it. It'll take it right off of that stand. And again, be very careful not to drop these screws. They are small. And I'll keep it separated from the other screws. But now we have the whole assembly out. And here you can see we have our new generator, and I'm going to very quickly just show you the parts that come with it. So you'll get new screws in the system, in the bag, and you'll also get the shrink tubing. So there's our new drop generator, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start installing it back into my print head. Okay, so I'm just going to take the 2 screws that I took out of here earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and mount that on. Give it a quick turn to get it started. Line up my holes a little bit. So small, so it's a little tough, but we can do this. It's very easy. Once we get the first screw started. So once you have the first screw started, it'll make your life a lot easier to get the second screw in, and then we'll tighten them down all the way. Then our holes are lined up. What we're looking for here is to make sure that this is flush, so when we start doing our alignment, it'll make it a little bit easier. Now I'll get these all tight down before I make my next move. We have that set. So now that we have this mounted on, we can just put it aside, because our next step is we're going to be cutting this tube flat, and I use a tube cutter. So make sure you have the right tools to do the job, guys. It's very inexpensive to get one of these. But you're going to place it so that we're even and level, and just a quick snap there. And you don't really have to worry about the length here, because as you see, we have plenty of tube that's still in our umbilical that we could pull out a little more so that you have room. Okay, guys? So this is probably going to be the hardest part. As you see the stand here, we're holding this in our hand, and we're going to push this tube to where we're flush on this stand. So what I usually do, because the inner diameter here is a little smaller and it's a little tough getting on this, we take a small screwdriver, and we're not going to ream it all the way in, because if you damage or open it too much, you're going to be leaking when we seal this on this tube. So what I do is I take a small screwdriver here, and I just easily poke it in, as you can see, just to make that tip of the of this open up, so that my diameter's small enough. So here we go, I got it a little bigger. Now let's see if we can get this to go on. Again, you might have to rock it back and forth just to get it started. And then once we get it started, we just got to rock it back and forth and keep pushing. Like I said, this is probably the hardest part of the whole job. And if you just keep pushing it little by little, you can see that I'm getting farther and farther down the stand. So guys, as again I'm saying, you got to wiggle it back and forth as you're pushing it. And again, it's a little tough, but as you can see, I have it bottomed out to the bottom here. So that's how we're going to put the tube on. And again, guys, that's probably the hardest part of the whole job. Now we can go ahead and we can connect this back into my hole here and push till you feel it click. Okay? And we'll turn this back a little bit. I'm going to take this connector now and I'm going to push it to the back, because that's where we're going to be making our connection. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to make sure that this screw, when I bottom it out, is inside. And let me pull this out to show you. Do you see the slot that's here, guys? So on the back of this set screw, you have a little like needle pin. You got to make sure that it's inside that hole, okay? And when that's in like I have it here, we'll go ahead and we'll take our screw and we'll screw it back down. So I'm going to take my small Phillips screwdriver, stand it up in here, guys. And I have that part mounted now. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to turn the print head over, and this is the last part. You can see we just need to make this connection, and don't forget to do this, guys. We're going to take our shrink tube, put it over. Now we're going to make our connection. I take a cigarette lighter, but if you have a heat shrink gun, that you could just heat it up a little bit. But again, I just make sure that my connection's covered, and I just take a regular lighter and just very quickly heat it up. So I join it around here so it doesn't slip off. And now we know that our connector is sealed in here and connected. So that's the way I do it, guys. You just form fit it around. But now we know that, again, our connector is connected inside here. Okay, guys? So with that all being done, we can go ahead and take this cover again, guys, and slide it back on. Making sure that all of our wires in the back here are going inside. And our front wires are going inside. And it just slips up so that we can go ahead and line it up and put our 4 screws back in there. But we'll go ahead and we'll get them in place. We'll screw them back in. So now that we have the drop generator in, earlier I was explaining about the cam follower screw, if it's not in the slot. So what we look for, guys, and I'm trying to do this without getting my hand in the video, the way that we turn the screw, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, you're seeing here, guys, that the cam is following which way I'm turning. If you do not see that, that means that the pin is not in that slot like I showed you earlier. So what you would have to do is take out that Phillips head screw and lift it and make sure that that is inside the slot, and then tighten it down again. Okay, guys? And the last thing I just want to show you very quickly, we have this video done, but in another video that we have on our webpage, we're going to show you how to align the jet. This, now that we have this in, we will have to align the jet. And what we're looking for, guys, is making the ink that's going to come out of our generator go straight into the gutter hole that we have here, guys. If we could see that. And that's what we call jet alignment. And again, guys, you'll see that in one of our next videos. But that's how to change, take out, and reinstall a drop generator with BestCode. Thank you.